Tonight on the Ospreys Eerie, Josh and I have a look back at a Wales game, go through what is a nominally quiet week in Welsh rugby, and look ahead to the biggest game of the season so far. Let's get into it. All right, evening, Josh. Just you and I tonight. Busy week, eh?
Yeah, never a dull week in Welsh rugby, eh?
It's just a few things to talk about. Just just a few. Let's start off with a little bit of news. And start off very in. Let's start off with on a sour note, in that unfortunately Osprey under-18s lost to Scarlets on the weekend in what can only be seen as, you know what, fair enough, they're quite good.
Yeah, they seem to have a really strong academy system now at the Scarlets, and their under 18s for the last couple of years have been really good. I heard, yeah, apparently the Ospreys did rotate a little bit with their squad, um, but that's no excuse in, how good the Scarlets were. And to be fair, we're still in second, aren't we, in the under 18s? So that's not too.
Yeah, I'm. I think played Cardiff in the semi-final, something like that.
Okay, nice.
If I can remember correctly, I could be completely wrong there, but that's off the top of my head. But either way, that's it was. It's okay, but you know what? If we can try and secure second place in the competition, it's always good to keep the youth flowing through. We did beat them another way though, as the under 16s managed to beat Scarlets on the weekend,
Love to see it. Love to see it.
which is, you know what, they can have the 18s. We'll take everything for the next 10 years to come, and just to make them feel bad.
So any of
Uh,
the decent under 18s players will be at the Ospreys anyway in a couple of years, so it's fine.
that's only reg for a small portion of the time, 3 months a year. In other news, less related to the Ospreys, Wales has done a shit, and obviously Gatton's gone. Matt Sherratt's in today. Has been announced. Matt Sherratt's brought it, kicked out Howley, probably for the best.
Yeah, he feels a lot like just Gatlin 2.0 is one of his lieutenants, and it feels like he's part of the same problem that Gatlin was bringing. So yeah, probably for the best.
Probably for the best. It's encouraging that he's then brought up. He's also added two or three players to a squad in Jared Evans, Max Llewellyn, and Gareth Anscombe, who are obviously very experienced, and two of them actually play 10, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's neither of them as good as Dan Edwards, but yeah, it's nice to have some Dan Edwards back up, which should be good.
It does feel nice that Dan Edwards finally has a 10 to learn off in the Wales squad and not just a 12. It could really help his development long term. But in all seriousness, it's just I'm surprised that we've finally done the sensible thing.
Oh, 100%. It seems, yeah. If only we'd made the change before the six. Obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but if we'd made the change before the Six Nations, we could have picked a reasonable Six Nations squad, which would include those. Well, definitely Max Llewellyn, probably Gareth Anscombe. Um, so yes, it's nice to see a little bit of reason, and it makes it me think that Matt Sherratt probably does view Ben Thomas as a 12, like the rest of Wales. So yeah, it looks like he's just tried to bring in some 10 cover. If you've only got 110 in the squad, Dan Edwards now.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that if it might mean that Dan Edwards isn't playing all the time for Wales in the distraught Six Nations, so he can come back to us nice and healthy.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed, no injuries.
Unfortunately, there is some news on, or I say news, but it's been reported in the French press this week that Owen Williams decided a 2-year deal at Nice starting at the end of the season, which is not great. Don't know how you feel about it, but I'm not very excited, pleased.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I think he's exactly this experienced 10 that we kind of needed in the squad during these periods of Six Nations. Because if we're assuming Dan Edwards is going to be in and around the squad for the next few years, I think to have that experienced 10s come in, I feel so much safer going. I know we're going to go into tomorrow night a bit later, but it feels nice that Owen Williams is in there steadying the ship. So it will be a shame to see him go. And it's probably a position we need to now strengthen to get another 10 in if he does indeed leave.
Yeah, without Williams, who's really found some form as of late. The Pal
Mm.
game and the Benetton game has been two of his best games in ages, I've felt. And it's really settling into his own under the new Mark Jones system. And it'll be a real shame to see him go not 6 months into it.
Yeah,
Hope,
totally agree with you.
hopefully it's just a rumor, but it's the French press, and I'm honestly unsure. Given how Nice are quite possibly getting relegated for season, it'll feel weird to have another Ospreys 10 in a Predator.
Yeah, well, yeah, sometimes they have the relegation clauses, but if it is looking very certain, maybe they don't have the relegation clause in there. But yeah, just another really talented Welsh player playing in Pro D.
I think we could. There's certainly one person we could replace him, and I know Sam de Pontopon is enjoying his rugby out there. In I don't think there's any other news, other than what Owen Watkins out for what we can only assume is a long time. ACL injury has been confirmed by Wales camp only today, which makes it more and more clear that we didn't want to do it just so they didn't have to call up Max Llewellyn. But it's
100%.
it's really quite awful news because Watkins has been having a stormer of the season very quietly. Some really big performances so far. It's a shame to see him go for what has been in past career-ending injuries.
Yeah, completely agree. I think this has probably been his best season in an Osprey shirt, especially since he sort of burst on the scene early doors at 2021. Um, so yeah, gutted for him. It's such an unlucky sport, isn't it? That you always seem to pick up the injuries just as you hit your top form a lot of the time. And I think Owen is a really underrated player. Um, that I think a lot of the regions don't necessarily give him the respect he deserves, but he's very well regarded amongst Ospreys fans. I know that. And it's just a shame that he didn't get the opportunity through fitness just to show everyone else what we already know, and that he's a top quality player.
It's a real shame that he lasted 20 minutes of the France game and we looked immediately worse after he went off.
Yeah, the balance in the centres as soon as he went off is just completely, yeah, completely off. Yeah, but hopefully Max Llewellyn coming in probably fill that void for Wales at least. But yeah, he's going to be a big loss to the Ospreys.
Yeah, it really is, which is a real shame. I think the one last piece of news is that we've had some luck out of the Wales camp, despite all this, in that Sam Parry and Ben Ryan have been released back to us for the Leinster game,
Yeah,
which I think we don't need to say how good that is, given that otherwise I don't know who our fifth choice hooker would be with both Derry Lake and Lewis Lloyd out.
100%. Yeah, I'm buzzing with it to be honest. And I was quite shocked really because Wales haven't always been the best at releasing players back to the regions, and with there only being three hookers in the squad, I thought it was almost certain that Sam Perry would have to stay. Um, but yeah, it makes a massive difference to have someone the experience of Sam Parry and then Ben Warren, who's obviously been at camp working with Adam Jones. It's going to be really interesting to see what he's learned in the Wales camp and how he sort of can make an impact when he comes on for us on tomorrow night.
Shall we move on to tomorrow night then, or and
Yeah.
just ignore the fact that Wales exists?
Yeah.
Probably for the best. The squads have been announced. Ospreys versus Leinster. Soldiers Geordie Barrett's coming home, and Geordie Barrett hasn't travelled. Quite frankly, he doesn't want it.
That is without a doubt. I think he was worried about Keith coming down his channel, and he just didn't fancy it. Did not fancy it.
If you can't get up for a Friday night game at Swansea.com, what can you get up for?
Exactly. And I'm going to be there as well. So, you thought that would be extra motivation.
You get to please Josh Lawrence in the flesh,
Exactly. Exactly.
and you're running at the opportunity. But either way, let's go through the team real quickly. Uh, prop signing the props. We've got Garen Phillips, Sam Parry, and Tom Bofa, which with Gareth Thomas out is pretty much first choice.
Yeah, agreed.
Like you cannot complain. James Ratty and James Fender Moreau, which feels right. Good balance.
Incredibly strong. Yeah, really strong.
Back row of Harry Deeves, Tipperick, and Morgan Morris, which feels like it's there just to like take a piss.
Honestly, our back row options are a joke. To think we're missing Jack Morgan, probably one of the best sevens in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, and we've still managed to put out that back row. And obviously we'll come onto the bench in a bit, but still have someone like Morgan Morse to come on as well.
Yeah.
We're blessed in that position.
I want to start some chat about this now, but I really think that Justin Tipperick has a chance of going the lines towards a Bolton.
Love that as a shout. I'd be so up for that. I thought problem is there's so many good sevens, but
Yeah, but is there? Like,
not
there's
Tipperick.
there's Josh Van der Fleer, there's Jack Morgan, and that's it.
But then if you're going to take someone who's not playing international rugby, do you take someone like Jack Willis, who's going to be probably winning his second European Cup? I mean, he's not Tipperick though, to be
Yeah,
fair.
he's not thrown overhead offloads to Chris Ashton. He's not like managed to get it off the hassler.
Oh yeah. Honestly, yeah. It's the fact is, we're an international break that we've got players like Tipperick to go and watch is yeah, we're very lucky as
Yeah.
Osprey supporters.
Yeah. Moving on, we'll go on to the halfbacks of Ruben and Owen, which is obviously I think they're easy fit. Owen probably only 10 fit in the squad at the moment, other than Jack Walsh, who's at 15.
Yeah, I mean, Ruben Morgan Williams should be in the Welsh squad, so he shouldn't be playing, but I'm very glad that he is. Yeah, that's a top quality 10, 9 to 10.
Yeah. And then of centres of Kieran Williams, Evali Boshoff, I tell you why Geordie Barrett is scared of coming. He's scared of getting boshed off. Haha. I hate myself. Uh, then we've got Kieran Giles, Kasende, and Jack Walsh filling out a back three, which feels nice and consistent with what we've done for the last sort of few games, coming through Benetton basically unchanged.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think that continuity in selection, and especially with Mark Jones bringing in a slightly different style of rugby and slightly different way of playing, I think that continuity is going to be really important. I think in previous years, where we've made up probably the majority of the Welsh squad during international periods, we
Mm.
kind of struggled because there's been that many changes.
Yeah,
But really, that's not far off what our first choice side is. There's only a couple of players,
there's
well, a
what
few players to come back into that.
three.
Yeah,
There's three you add in, maybe four. Well, four. There's Gareth Thomas, Dan Edwards, Owen Watkin, Jack Morgan,
yeah. And
and
maybe
there's
he's back fit, but it's that to me feels like a really strong side we got out there.
yeah, it's honest. If it's a team, I'm glad they're playing Leinster and they're all available to play Leinster at home because it makes it feel winnable
Yeah,
almost.
it feels weird, doesn't it, going into a Leinster game and saying we
Yeah, we
can,
can do a job on there.
yeah, 100%. But I agree with you. I'm of the same opinion. But to be honest with you, I'm an eternal optimist, and I do feel like that before most games. Which is why whenever I put an accumulator on, it very rarely wins.
I do love the confidence. I've been a nihilist about Welsh rugby for probably the last 10 years. So being confident about something is not something I'm used to. We'll quickly go through the bench, which is also quite strong. Got Ethan Lewis, Cameron Jones, Ben Warren back on Wales duty, Will Spencer off the bench, which just feels like he's there to punch someone.
Oh yeah, he's so unlucky not to be starting. With how good his form's been, but to still get Ratty and Fender in the side, oh, I would, yeah, we've got a lot of depth there, and obviously Adam Beard's injured and Reece Davis are injured, so it shows how much strength and depth we've got now in the second
I was
row.
gonna say the second row is a real point of strength for us. I think the fact that Ratty's playing at four rather than six also says quite a lot.
Yeah,
about how we're targeting this Leinster team, and that
yeah,
we don't see them quite as big and physical compared to Treviso 3 weeks ago,
yeah,
which is maybe good work. Then finishing off the bench, you've got Morgan Morse, Kieran Hardy, Tom Florence, and Justin Hopkins, which is all to say is just quite strong.
yeah. 100%. Like Kieran Hardy's another one that since he's come back for us, I think he's been a great signing. I think him and Ruben Ward-Williams kind of dovetailed really nicely. Yeah, and I think he really keeps the pace of the game up when he comes on hard. He's really good at sniping.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's been a really good signing for us.
he has found some of his best form in recent weeks as well, back to when he was being initially touted for Wales squads back in 2021. And
Yeah,
it's just really nice to see that he's managed to not necessarily revitalise, but find a bit of fresh air playing for a much better club.
yeah. It must be nice for him to finally get some front foot ball. To be honest, not constantly have to play off the back foot.
That might have been why he might have not been doing so well at Scarlets, to be fair. Shocker.
Yeah,
I think that it's obviously in comparison to Leinster's team, which is a bunch of AI generated names and Rob Samani.
yeah. And then Snyman on the bench just to
He
well,
doesn't want it. He doesn't want it.
he doesn't. He's asked to go on the bench. There is no doubt.
He does not want to play Harry Deves on a Friday night. And to be honest, neither would I, but that's a personal choice.
100%. I reckon he's asked to go on the bench, hoping that Will Spencer was starting and he wouldn't have to play him. And then he'd just
Yeah.
come on as soon as Will Spencer comes off. But Mark Jones has seen it coming and he's switched it and gone, right, okay, you're gonna bring on Simon. Fine, we'll bring on Spencer.
In all seriousness, it is still a strong Leinster team. It's
It's
not anywhere near first choice, but
it's one of those where you'll go into it and you'll probably only know a handful of like Leinster players. Um
I
like
recognise 4 people in the squad.
yeah. And yet they will be unreal. They will be in 3 or 4 years' time. It'll be, oh yeah, so and so is going to be in the Lions, and you realise, oh yeah, that was like half the Leinster team from a few years ago is now the Lions team. So yeah, even though I don't necessarily recognise a lot of the names, I think they'll still have a very strong team.
I think that's still be quite good, annoyingly.
Yeah,
But
well, interesting. I've looked at the odds. What do you reckon? The bookies. Who do you reckon the bookies have as favourites, and roughly
but
what score?
okay, Leinster are definitely favourites, and it's probably Leinster by 9.
Oh, I tell you what, that's actually really good. It's Leinster by 11, but you're close there.
It feels like if I was being a nihilist about it, it's just like close game for 60 minutes. Leinster gets 2 tries in the last 10 to put it away.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening. I
Well, no,
see close game for 60 minutes. Leinster score 1 try and we get 2 at the end.
100%. Like you see the pace coming off the bench, like the power more and more. So I love watching him come off the bench because he just adds so much energy. And when you've got some tired bodies and you've got an athlete like that coming at you, moving that quickly, that powerfully, yeah. And then players like Hardy to come on. We've got some real strength and depth coming now.
I'm just excited to see. I think Morgan Morse is going to change the game up. It might be coming of age for him. He's been really good the last few weeks, both coming off the bench against Benson and against Powell. He was immense. Doing it against a Leinster team, though, no matter the time or place, is always a different challenge. It's something I want to see if he steps up to as the ultimate impact sub.
100%. I think most Welsh fans will be quite glad of this bye week because you can almost go, right, okay, park Wales for a bit. We can just get stuck into the regions who have been doing really well this season. And it just sort of switches the focus and hopefully
Yeah.
we can deliver some results and get some positivity back into Welsh rugby going into next weekend.
You got to remember, next week is #Island Week, which means I'll be on Twitter constantly, or Blue Sky, or wherever that Edward Jenkins is taking a piss just for shits and gigs. And I think the best way to start Ireland Week is having the Ospreys beat Leinster. I just,
Yeah, 100% sets the tone. Sets the tone. Um, yeah. Oh God, I don't even want to think about next week. I'm all on tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Leinster haven't lost yet this season either, have they?
no, it seems set in the stars for something beautiful,
Oh yeah.
almost.
No, definitely. Although I do love our social media team, but
Yeah.
that video they put out did make me go, oh no, please don't poke the bear. Please don't poke the bear, because that'll be shown in the team meeting. Ospreys don't know who half you are. Um, yeah, it's the kids out. They think the only player you've got is Barrett. We haven't even selected him. Go and batter them.
Yeah, it makes an easy team talk, but we have a whole Harry Deeves.
Oh, I'm so glad he's back. Honestly, absolute. He's one of those players you'd love having on your team. You'd hate to play against, especially as like a 10. It'd be your worst nightmare because he just doesn't stop. Brilliant, brilliant back rower.
Brilliant back row, terrible haircut.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely can't talk when it comes to haircuts, so I'm gonna like stay well out of it. But yeah,
It's all right. There's a reason he wears a scrum cap, and it's not for. It's not like he's a front rower and needs it.
he needs to get some lessons off Tipperick, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a
Mm.
fan of the long flowing locks.
It's not quite Adam Jones. It's not quite Duncan Jones.
No. But what is?
Good question. Anyway, it's a exciting kickoff. It's on the Beeb as well, so nice and free to wear for all of us who don't have the luxury of going to Swansea.com this weekend. It's
Yeah,
obviously
I might as
great
well
news.
be calling it a luxury when it's raining and raining down in Swansea.
Yeah, but have Leinster ever won it on a wet Friday night? I don't think
No,
they have.
no.
I think let's move on then. Let's have a quick score prediction then, Josh.
Ospreys by 4. Go on, you next.
I was going to say I was spaced by four as well.
Oh, love it,
I was going to
love
say
it.
31-27.
Oh,
Just feels right.
31-27. If it's that kind of game, I'd absolutely love it. I'm going to go for a 20 points to 16.
Yeah, I see it. I see us getting four tries and Owen missing all four conversions.
Well, if he's listening to this, that should give him the motivation he needs to make sure he nails his kicks.
Not necessarily because they're bad, just because we've scored more in the corner and
Yeah,
Mr. P try hasn't showed up today.
yeah, 100%, 100%. That'll be why.
Actually, to be
Um,
fair, Mr. P try is currently off in camp with the Welsh squad.
oh yeah,
He's
no,
their top
definitely.
scorer so far.
Yeah. Oh, did you Yeah, I'm guessing you've listened to Nick's interview with Lance Bradley now.
Yeah, very insightful and nothing quite a lot of fun news. Things to be excited for, I think is a way to put it.
Oh, definitely, especially when he was talking about potential sign-ins and saying, he seems he's talking about sort of the older Ospreys teams and how they had a few stars and how big a
Yeah.
difference that made. Um, Now how you define a star is another thing, but if we can get anything like the signings that we used to have, even if there's just one or two of them, that would make a massive difference.
Is it a return to the Galacticos era?
Oh yeah, get Tommy Bow to dust off his boots.
I think he's a bit busy on daytime TV, and I'm not wouldn't be my first choice. If I was going for go for a big winger, I think there'd be people I'd rather have nowadays. People that can run.
True, true.
But wow, it's inspiring. Also, the stuff about St. Helens, it makes me excited. I think I'll be at a mess if I'm not there opening day of the season next year.
Oh,
In any
100%.
capacity, it'd be a day to remember, if nothing else.
Oh, definitely. I think it might feel a bit like a seminal moment, to be honest. I think it's one of those ones, if you can get there, make sure you do. It'll be packed out, really good atmosphere. And yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, really exciting. I think the new location of the where they're going to be playing is is a lot better from someone who's studied at Swansea Uni. There's obviously a lot of uni accommodation.
Yeah,
I'd loved it if they played at St Helens when I was there because that would
that's
literally just
just
be
it's round the corner. It's
yeah,
so
literally
easy.
it's a stone's throw. Um, one of the one of the properties we were looking at would literally be overlooking the pitch. So
My mate at uni used to have a flat looking over there, and it's just like, okay, mate, I'm a little bit jealous.
oh, yeah, hundred
It's
percent.
just apart from he used to when he played for Swansea Uni, he used to train there. And it's just like, okay, mate, it's a Friday night at the end of March, and it's just glorious. You see the sunset over the beach.
Oh, stunning. Yeah.
It's gorgeous out
Oh, definitely. Like when they redo that stand beachside, that's gonna be stunning. You could have some amazing corporate hospitality where you've got the pitch from
there.
one view, and then you turn around and you've got the beach and the sunset on the other view. It's
It's
exciting.
it's I think it's something that everyone in the Australia region can be excited for. Other things to be excited for in the Australia region are some of the community games that went on, despite the Wales game this weekend. Only four went on, which two, two of them were Super Rugby coming. Starting off with Newport, Aberavon, and Newport managed to win 36-32 in that one, unfortunately for Aberavon, which is cracker, quite frankly. I think Aberavon will be too sad about losing to Newport,
Mm.
especially a Newport with players like Ashton Hewitt coming back into them. It's a good game for them. Swansea managed to beat Carmarthen 27-22, which is a really nice way to keep their season alive. Some other results around the region. Uh, in Bucks, Swansea lost to Durham, unfortunately, which is maybe a little disappointing, but you take what you can get. And the only other result in the region was in the Admiral National League One West Central when Bridgend Athletic beat Skewen 13-6. I think it might be time to have a little bit of Wales chat. Just an eeny teeny amount.
Oh gosh. Okay.
We don't need to talk about the game that just happened. We can just look forward maybe a little bit
Yeah.
to Ireland because I think it's time for us to get some jam out.
Some jam.
I feel it coming. I don't feel a win this next weekend. I feel a rise in performances that ends up with us beating England in the Principality.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think with Matt Sherratt only having because obviously he's still working with Cardiff this weekend against Connor, and then
Yeah.
he's going into camp on Monday, isn't he? So he's only going to have 5 days for Ireland. But then obviously you've got another bye week, so you'll have 2 weeks then to prepare for
Mm.
Scotland away, and then obviously a week into England. I can see us having yeah an improvement in performance week on week now to for each game. Um, hopefully culminating in an England game. And I'm not being funny. We can lose the rest of the games if we beat England. Most people won't really care.
I think if we can beat England in the state that we were in after the Italy game, I would be ecstatic, especially if England are playing for a championship.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, I can see it coming. I can definitely see it coming.
It feels written in the stars at this point, which makes sense. It'll be interesting to see what Matt Sherratt does, at least in terms. Are we gonna ditch Tompkins' time and go with like a recognised 13, or are we just gonna try and continue what we've been doing so far, which I really hope isn't the case?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a weird one because he's obviously having to deal with a squad that he hasn't picked. Hence
Hmm.
he's made some call ups. But yeah, it looks like he's going to move Ben Thomas to 12. Um, and yeah, what he does with the rest of the back, because I think that's a bit of a shame on Eddie James, because I'd have liked to have seen Eddie James a bit more at 12, with potentially Llewellyn at
Hmm.
13. But yeah, I can see him bringing Thomas in, because the other thing is he's got to go back to Cardiff afterwards.
Yeah.
So is he really going to be dropping all the Cardiff, like any of the Cardiff lads? Like if he thinks Ben Thompson needs to be dropped, will he drop him? knowing that he's then got to deal with him at Cardiff.
He might drop him and then have him back for, I think, they play Leinster week off on March the 1st, I think, week after Six
Uh,
Nations.
yeah.
So he
Okay.
might just drop him so he gets him back early then.
Yeah,
Which,
100%. Yeah. Don't be surprised if in 2 weeks' time all the Cardiff players are released back to the region for the bye week.
again, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised, but I'd also get it. It's not like they probably have too many players in that squad anyway.
It's a fair point. It is a fair point. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that we got two released. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to complain.
It's it sets up the next couple of weeks quite interestingly, at least. There's lots to, I think, for once, a veiled sense of optimism in Welsh rugby, which is
Yeah.
all around, which is really quite nice to see. I let's finish off then. One funny thing to happen in the Leinster game. Go on, I can go first.
Yeah, go on, you go first.
I think Harry Deeves is gonna get caught saying something not very nice on the ref mic.
Like it. Oh, that's a good one, to be fair. I can definitely see that happening as well, to be fair. Um, I think Morgan Morse is going to go over the top of Snyman.
Or that's. I don't think I'll go over the top. I think I'll just go through him. Weak shoulder, line break out of RJ Simon. You know what? I'll take that a lot. I would not complain if that happened. I think that's time. I don't know if I'm missing anything. You?
No, I think that's all the major points. But yeah, if you haven't listened to Nick's podcast from earlier in the feed, definitely give that a listen.
Great chat. Great chat. Lance was really insightful and it just gave a lot.
Yeah,
Be nice. I was listening to Dragon's Lair the other day and it was about their Q&A with their CEO and I felt that was really insightful. It'd be nice to have one of supporters Q&A of Lance in the future, maybe.
yeah, no,
It's something
definitely.
because it's all well that Nick and us have the opportunity to do it, but I think the whole supporter base should also get that same opportunity at the end of the day, even if it does come with the caveats of having a few of the more vocal members come. But
Yeah. To be fair, I think he did an evening, was it Swansea RFC, where he talked about the new stadium. I'm not sure how it kind of worked in terms of the back and forth and whether he did a question and answer at the end. But yeah, I th one thing I'd really like about Lance is he does um communicate really well with supporters, whether that be on social media or through press releases or coming on these sort of podcasts. I think, yeah, I like how open and honest he seems to be.
I've
Um,
got a lot of time for that man, and it shows either way.
yeah,
I'd like
definitely.
to go check out the pod. Please remember to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube or rate and subscribe on any other platform. It means a lot to us, both as a anyone in the rap family and us as a pod specifically. It means that you can help support us in the best way possible. Feel free to follow us on Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter if you're still on there for some reason, because obviously it helps boost us and helps us grow, and it means that we can keep putting out great content for you, like these interviews with Lance Bradley. I think we got a few more interviews in the works, hopefully for the next couple of weeks, which is worth keeping an eye out for. But until then, thank you, Josh, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure.
No, cheers, Zach. Really enjoyed it.
And thank you to everyone listening. Have a good night.